Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews. So I hope you're enjoying your week. The latest of the films that didn't get wide release in theaters, didn't make much money, or found their way onto the internet. The latest of these is another HBO documentary. And HBO documentary and films have been on a roll in recent years. And the latest comes from Alex Gibney, the man who brought you Enron, the smartest guys in the room, Going Clear, and Steve Jobs, and The Armstrong Lie. Back again, this time with the inventor out for blood in Silicon Valley. This is about Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, that the company that was at one point valued at almost $10 billion, only for it to be exposed as a massive fraud. And clearly, Elizabeth Holmes, at the age of 19, dropped out of Stanford. She had this very big idea that she wanted to revolutionize the medical care industry by not having to use needles to gather blood, and she had a machine that she wanted to invent with just a drop of blood, managed to view almost 200 tests. Clearly, two ginormous companies that test your blood, apparently, and she wants to stick it to the man and say, I'm going to provide cheaper prices for you. It's a really all-encompassing documentary about the rise of Theranos, which stood for Therapy and Diagnoses. Clearly, Elizabeth Holmes admired several people. Thomas Edison, and she named the machine that she was trying to invent after him. And she also admired Steve Jobs because she wore those black turtlenecks every time she was being interviewed. Now, what we come to learn here is that Thomas Edison had a fake it till you make it attitude, because basically he was in love with his own myth himself, and clearly he had a whole bunch of success more often than not. And the men in the story absolutely love Elizabeth Holmes. The women are a much different story. When she approached one of her Stanford professors who was on a couple of medical boards that had been doing stuff in the healthcare industry, she took one look at her and said, yeah, get out of here. Your invention is not, it's infeasible and it's never going to work. So she quit Stanford. You know, a lot of geniuses have quit school and become legends in their field, not Elizabeth Holmes. She had plenty of powerful people on the board of directors, including Henry Kissinger, like a former Secretary of State, and she had the Secretary of State's grandson to intern with this company. We were giving interviews, invested early in Facebook and several other companies, and he was asked, okay, what goes into investing early? Basically, he says you have to have the drive, you have to have the passion, and you have to have the vision. And really, all early investing is a wing and a prayer. That's really all it is. They started losing money early on or they started to defraud people early on. Now, Alex Gibney never goes so far as to say that she overly defrauded people, but he goes definitely to say that she believed her own hype. Eventually, they do partner with Walgreens and do have a small rollout in Arizona. Basically, they don't have the machines, and any machines they do are still being created and they are not working properly. So what they do with Walgreens is say, okay, we'll basically send you the pricks, you send us the lab work, and we'll tell the customers their lab results. Apparently, what we've been told throughout all this is that, oh yeah, I could run over 200 blood tests just by pin drop worth of blood. In reality, this machine could have run maybe 100 tests at most, and this thing really was not working. The blood got everywhere throughout the machine, and things broke. Engineers were basically saying to her, hey, look, this thing is not inventable the way you want it to be created. It's not workable. And basically they all got on her bad side and they just left the company. Apparently, one worker here, who's the son of a highly respected Secretary of State who was working at this company, basically said, oh yeah, the people in the front office loved Elizabeth Holmes. Everyone in the lab despised her. Elizabeth Holmes also had this relationship with a guy named Sonny, who's Pakistani American, and this guy named Sonny was much more a salesman. He and Elizabeth would just go out and just pitch this thing. All they were pitchmen. They amazingly enough hired Errol Morris, the great documentarian, to do some promo work for the company, which that explains how Errol Morris was hoodwinked into doing this. A couple of interesting revelations in this documentary, two of whom come from Elizabeth Holmes herself. One is that she basically trained herself not to blink, which I think is very weird and odd. She also managed to lower her voice, which I just think, okay, I know a lot of people in the industry have been able to adjust their voices. And also one other thing that we come to discover later on is that the blood tests were wildly inaccurate. Apparently someone once said, oh yeah, we tested 60 people for syphilis. And quite frankly, 40 of which were positive and 20 of which were negative. But of course the negatives were actually wrong. So at least one person here who was hired by Walgreens to do the test actually had to go to the hospital to figure out, okay, is my blood work actually accurate? And could I figure out my own blood work? Probably not. A couple people decided to whistleblow, including one woman who was going to a New York Times reporter, and this New York Times reporter had been on the hunt from the very get-go about how, quite frankly, this company frauding people out of their money. And basically, this woman shows up to this New York Times reporter. Following her is the company's lawyer, who happened to represent Al Gore in the 2000 election, and also Harvey Weinstein, who helped basically silence all the women. This thing turned out to be a deposition in all but name. Let's just face it, they ran out of money, investors pulled out, the board pulled out, and let's face it, Elizabeth Holmes is now in trial for fraud. I'll be honest with you folks, I think, to me, the three best Alex Gibney documentaries are Enron, the Smartest Guy in the Room, The Armstrong Lie, which I highly recommend people seek out, and the Going Clear, the Scientology film. This is more in league with his last film about the Stuxnet virus. Clearly a well-researched, thought-out documentary. I think, unlike the Michael Jackson thing, which is apparently 4 hours long, this is only 2. I would have loved to have gone another hour with this, because quite frankly, there is some stuff here that I would love to have further explored. I had never heard of Elizabeth Holmes before, and after this thing, boy, wow, what a story to be told. And apparently, Adam McKay is going to direct this into a feature with Jennifer Lawrence. So folks, in the end, what I'm going to say about The Inventor, Out for Blood in Silicon Valley, I'm going to give this a matinee rating, because clearly there is just some stuff that you just have to see, and it needs to be seen to be believed. So folks, The Inventor, have you seen this? What did you think? What is your favorite HBO documentary? What's your favorite HBO produced movie? As always folks, like, comment, subscribe, enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time folks. Yes, hooray.